Hi guys, welcome to Humahuaca, Argentina. So it's been several days since we last talked. Last time I talked to you guys, I was in Salta, so let me catch you up on everything that's happened since then. Basically since then, until my friend Amber arrived, it was pretty chill. Hung out in a park, saw some guys slacklining, so joined them doing that for a bit. Met up with the same couch surfer from before and went to this park called Bicentenario, which is a really pretty park, and just walked around there for a bit. The next day Amber got in, so that day was pretty low-key, but later we had an asado, so basically grilled some food back at the couch surfing place we're staying at, which is really good, really delicious. Our host knows how to make some really good steaks, so that was awesome. We just hung out, and later some of his friends had come over too and played Uno, and anyways, just pretty much hanging out. Oh, and the night before I finally had a choripan for the first time, so I went with my host to basically get some street food, but it was really good. I love my choripan. So that was a couple days. Then the following day we went again with our couch surfing host, a friend of his, to this area outside of Salta but close by called San Lorenzo, which is a pretty area. There's like a river running through there and a mountain that you can walk up to the top if you want, but we just hung out by the river, just hanging out. One of the guys was playing guitar and singing and just having a good time, drinking mate. And then later we ended up going into town, meeting up with some other couch surfers at this bar because we were basically trying to see if we could all rent a car to explore the surrounding areas of Salta versus doing tours to each one. So we all met at the bar, basically talked about like everything we were wanting to do and made a plan. So the next day, anyways, we rented a car, finally found one. It took a while. They were like all, for the most part, rented out because Wednesday was the holiday and all this stuff, but eventually we found one. We drove to Cafayate, which is south of Salta, and there's lots of pretty like red rocks and things along the way with different formations and things you can stop at. So there's this place called the Devil's Throat where we walked back in there, walked around and climbed around kind of a little bit. There's another place called an amphitheater where it's kind of similar. It's like this cutout in the rock, but they're really tall and high. And it also has really good sound. You can play music in there. There's a guy playing flute in there. And made some other stops along the way, a lot of sightseeing and stopping to take photos. There's this rock that looks like a frog and this other one that like looks like a priest. So most of that first day we were making our way to Cafayate, making stops along the way. That area I had seen before when I was here 10 years ago, so I was familiar with that, but really pretty area. We stayed in Cafayate that night, which is also known for its wine. They make a lot of white wine there. Had dinner and accompanied by wine. And then the next morning before heading north, we actually went a little bit farther south to see these ruins called the Quilmes ruins. So basically it was a pre-Incan civilization that lived there. There's still ruins there. You can kind of go up high. It looks like the desert, lots of cactuses around, but there's still some of the walls and things from the ruins. Learned a little bit about them. And unfortunately, they've lost a lot of their heritage, and culture has been lost over time after the Incans coming, and then of course the Spanish coming after that. So they've lost even like their language doesn't exist anymore, but basically have been working on trying to bring it back. And there's actually an area right outside of Buenos Aires called Quilmes, which is named after this group of indigenous people from Argentina. So anyways, it was interesting to learn about and see the ruins. Some llamas, of course, walking by and stuff like that, but it was interesting. And after that, we started making our way north a bit, heading towards Cachi. There's a lot of cute towns along the way. So again, we kind of stopped along the way, taking more pictures, more beautiful landscapes, a lot of dry mountains, but really cool shapes, kind of like sandstone. And again, looks kind of familiar to things I've seen on the west coast of the US, like in surrounding areas of San Diego or Nevada or Utah, places like that, really cool formations and things. So made our way down to Cachi, which is another cute small town, and stayed there for a night. It took us a while. We ended up renting a place for the night, which was really nice and had an amazing view, but really hard finding that. It took us a while, but eventually we made it there. And then the next day, which I believe was yesterday now, we made our way from Cachi all the way up north to Tilcara. So along that drive, like all along the way, it's been kind of different landscapes, somewhat similar, but a little bit different as well. So that area had a lot of green mountains and kind of valleys, like with the road just winding around the mountains and stuff. We made a stop at this place called Piedra de Molino, which has this big rock thing. It's kind of like something you would use to grind grains, let's say, but like a really big one. And there's a little chapel there and a cross, and made other stops along the way, again taking photos and stuff. There's a national park over there, Parque de los Cardones, I believe. So again, lots of cactuses in that area, and then like farther down the road, kind of red rocks and mountains, so lots of pretty landscapes. Amber and I actually both drove part of that day. So first time driving in Argentina ever, and first time driving a manual car since Sweden, which has been a while. It's been like almost a year, but since I almost never drive it, always want to like refresh and get familiar, because we're going to be driving back today. And the rest of the group we met is staying where we are now. So that was yesterday, basically. Stayed in the town of Tilcara, which is another really cute town. I'd probably say the cutest one even out of the ones we've seen. Anyways, so stayed there, had a really good meal, the best one I'd say so far, even in Salta. They had some different dishes. We had this dish with llama meat, kind of in like a cheese fondue with potatoes, really delicious. Anyways, so that was like a long day of driving because we went pretty far north. And then today we've been driving around. We stopped at this lookout that had a great view there's a statue of Jesus up there. We kept driving to this area called Purmamarca, where they have these colorful mountains. It's called like Mountain of Seven Colors. So really beautiful mountains, tons of colors. Like I had been there also actually last time I was in Salta years ago. But it was great getting to see it in daylight, because you could just see it so much more and really beautiful. And kind of hiked around there a little bit, hiked a little bit higher up that mountain to get some nice views. And then from there we continued on to the Salinas Grandes, which are the salt flats in Argentina. So they're the second biggest salt flats in the world after Uyuni in Bolivia. So anyways, we went there, took a lot of photos, of course, with different objects so you could get that cool perspective again. It was really hot with the sun reflecting off of the salt because it's completely white, looking like snow. It feels hot now again, but anyways, hung out there, and now we made our way back all the way up north to where I am now, called Humahuaca, which is another, again, cute town. And yeah, I mean, besides exploring the towns a little bit, we walked around just a little bit, about to have lunch. The rest of the group we met is gonna stay here. And then Amber and I will make the drive back to Salta. So we'll be getting in this evening. And then the plan is tomorrow I'm getting my my second shot vaccine for the rabies vaccine tomorrow morning. And we're gonna try to hitch a ride towards Iguazu, see how far we get, maybe take a bus along the way. But we're gonna try to make our way in that direction tomorrow. That's the plan. You never know what'll happen because things always change, but let me show you the view real quick, and then I will say goodbye so I can go have some lunch with the rest of the group. So you can see the mountains back there. Even those are kind of colorful. A few different shades. That looks like the main square, I think. And then lots of stairs going up there. There's a statue, which is hard to see because of the sun. But anyways, that's about it for now. So it's been a great trip so far, and we will continue exploring the rest of Argentina shortly. I will talk to you soon from Iguazu. Bye.